So Ramta wants to throw his hat into the ring of ship makers. How cute. Considering that the poor Zorgan Peterson struggles to come up with ideas and hasn't produced anything new since the last bowel movement of their parent company, the Lacy, that they mistook as a yes, Ramta has his work cut out for him. Then again, the mad space alien porn fetishes decided to start slow and introduce humanity to the 3 new lovely werewolf puppies that were spawned by forcing a human male, most likely Ramta himself, fucking an unsuspecting Guardian Sentinel, or their remains, in order to craft said pups. Frankly, the prospect of one of the engineers naked on a monolithical shrine, sweating and trusting a poor Sentinel makes me somewhat confused in more than 3 ways. Also, now I have the feeling that someone will make a Rule 34 fanfiction because of this. But anyways, if you want to pick up these fighters, well, you better get an elite rank in something to go to Shinrata Desra or know where to find these experimental things in this vast galaxy, as these fighters aren't sold by any Dick, Mary and Johnny on the street corner. Yes, they'll be more than happy to resupply you with these fighters. Yep, this game is so realistic. Woo, space magic! So then from outside, how do I even describe these 3 fighters? In a one word, I'd say great? No, seriously, I don't even toss the word good around that often in order to keep pushing artists and creators to improve, but this time I really am struggling to remember that. From the outside, these Guardian hybrid fighters are truly unique. See, to give you some context, in Elite Dangerous, visually the game was built more or less with the intent to have designs and visual representation of what the future could look like realistically. Most of the ships look like today's shuttles, and even more outrageous designs of Guatemala don't really go that ham on the fabulous angle. But now we get ships like these, some kind of detached, afloat by space crack cocaine magic, wing designs that completely stray away from anything that we've ever seen in the game before. So the fact that the rest of the ship lineup is so grounded, introducing something as outrageous as this really makes it stand out even more. And for that, I absolutely love these designs. Not only these fighters have unique looks, but also such small details as ship trails, and even the shields are different looking. Everything about these designs scream artists actually put in extra work. And speaking of putting in that extra step, each of these 3 designs is different. Yes, they have the core pilot capsule exactly the same, but that in comparison to the overall look is minimal detail. So when you remember that Alliance special needs kids and federal piggies, and especially the normal fighters that have all the same fucking model between manufacturers, they have minimal to no detailing change. That is what I expected these hybrid fighters to be, but no, artists really took the time and made them different. I can't repeat enough how refreshing and wonderful it is to see something like this. As for the individual models, the Lance was the first one I unlocked. It's the railgun one, and frankly, it looks like an arrowhead. Then Trident probably is the most unusual one, as it just overall is weirder than the other 2. But I like it the most because of its uniqueness. So I guess you can say that TheYamiks has a weirdo fetish. Oh, and Trident is the continuous spermatozoid shooter thingamajiggy. And finally, the Javelin is the shotgun version that honestly at first looked like a more bulkier lance, and to an extent it is, but not really if you look closer. Overall, I'm really happy seeing these ships, so well done artists. See what happens when you put in some fucking effort? Figuratively and literally? As for inside, now here I did mention that everything is the same between the 3 versions, aside from what you can see from the wings outside of the cockpit. This too, in fact, is a good thing, as many ships in Elite have their cockpits so far ahead of the guns you never see them in action. Yes, it's a small nitpick, but I like a good action in my face, even if that action makes me blind. So anyways, Ramta has made fighters from broken and old parts laying around in space somewhere for thousands of years. And unlike any other cockpit, these fighters actually make sense to have the fucking wires hanging all over the place. But unlike the fucking Lacy, Ramta actually put in effort to do acceptable cable management. Seriously! If one fuck somewhere in a shed at the edge of the human space can take time out of his busy day to make his ships look at the very least more presentable, then in comparison, the Lacy looks like they already stopped giving the leftover shit a long time ago. Anyways, in the new fighters, the first thing you'll notice is exposed wires, then what seems to be the carbon fiber or its imitation body, then the new captain's chair for the pilot, but the biggest treat of all is what I assume to be the glowing Targoid feces integrated in the center console and on the both sides of the pilot. This really gives you the feeling of being in an experimental craft rather than the refined Gutamaya or Core Dynamics toasters. Now, of course, it's all fine and dandy to be able to see all the weapons work and have some fancy alien crusted vomit as detailing, but what truly sells me on these cockpits are the effects once you hit the boost button in one of these ships. Yes, the sound is pretty neat too, but the Guardian detailing lights up and produces sparks. I love it! Though realistically, this makes these Guardian fighters very questionable in the eyes of the safety committee. Okay, beginning test A1032, boost speeds. The craft seems to be stable and operational and... oh wow, Guardian stuff lights up. I gotta take a closer look. So yeah, quite questionable indeed. Seems that Ramta is not quite that concerned about the human lives lost in his mad scientific creations. Oh wait. Didn't we use, like, telepresence in these? So then why the fuck do we need life support in these? It's like fighters don't make any fucking sense all of a sudden. Okay, so just like with everything pretty in the world, it's outbalanced by the misshapen abominations and devastation at the hands of the crazies. As it happens, there is one particular theme with these Guardian fighters that I've noticed. Ramta just hates you and wants to kill you. Not only leaving the exposed sparking Guardian jizz stains in the cockpit, you'll also feel the heat alongside your daily electroshock therapy, as all these fighters in today's lineup suffer from the horrible overheating issue, while not having any utilities to offset any of this. So honestly, this is business as usual when you pick up that which has been built by a dude in a shed somewhere in the ghetto region of the galaxy. Seriously, Lance already had to receive an update, reducing the heat generation somewhat. But nonetheless, what the fuck do you expect when you have a combat clueless wanker attempt to build a tank? At best, it will be the gayest thing on the battlefield. At worst, it'll look like Jeff. Still, these ships are very maneuverable, only being upstaged by Gutamaya fighters, and speed-wise, only having one of the Condor versions beat it without the boost. Though with boost, it's somewhere in the middle of the fighter lineup. Defense-wise, yeah, sure, these Guardian ships have the most shields along with Taipans, yet the least armor, making them quite easy to take down when fighting phasing sequence lasers or Targoid corrosive discharge. The corrosive discharge. I just don't get the appeal here, Ramta. Why the fuck didn't you just make it a hull tank in order to survive longer? Don't you know what the fucking Targoids do to the shields? Disappointing, as these fighters are quite notably less effective against human ships than normal fighters. So again, what's the point of their setup? Anyways, as I tested out each one, I have to say, I'm disappointed even further. So Lance, the first ever railgun fighter is an absolute garbage. In fact, it becomes hot after just one shot, so you can say that it's a flaming hot garbage, even though it has the biggest DPS. Oh, wait, no! It should stand for damage per second, not damage per shot. But I guess developers are clueless about more often used gaming acronyms. Anyways, even though it has the biggest damage per shot, rivaling even the normal ship Gauss cannons, you can only use it so infrequently that most of the time you'll be spending avoiding fire in more than just one way than shooting, and no one likes to have ship like that. Oh, and your NPC pilots are even less useful than an aborted fetus is at the wheel. See, an NPC AI is made for other versions of the fighters, not the railgun build. So instead of actually keeping your distance and poking the enemy from afar, they go straight in for the kill, like a fucking kamikazes. And obviously due to the low armor, die instantly against Targoids, making them into a literal torpedo holers. The truest of true one-pump chumps. So basically, this thing just looks good and nothing more. As for Javelin, the shotgun one, frankly against the Targoids it's about the same due to the low hull, but at least you can use this one as the heat generated is the least. Plus you could kill Targoid drones with it, but I would not count on it. Also, oddly, it's not that bad against human ships. But finally, the most fun and best looking of the fighters, the Trident that has the plasma autocannons, not plasma multi-cannons. Seriously, now what's the big difference between multi-cannons and autocannons? Does the fucking Ramta even know? Anyways, this thing has a rather unique firing mechanic that oddly is a very satisfying one to use, and frankly, just because it looks cool and shoots plenty of energy balls in a satisfying manner, I'd use it, and actually, I tend to do so even now. Though again, not very good against Targoids due to low survivability. Still, if you are going to unlock one of these, go for the Trident. The most fun, best looking, and useful of all of them. So in the end, the Guardian fighters. It's interesting that in Elite, technological jumps are a bit weird to witness. See, normally you'd start to see first alien weapons on human ships or alien ships with human weapons. And only after that, the full-blooded alien ship. Though, yeah, I guess we got the AX fighter. It really has the human weapons and I don't particularly count it. Still, I'm honestly pleasantly surprised about these Guardian ships. I love the looks, sounds, and even stats. Mostly. Though, as I did describe, their usability is very limited. So, not sure if it's really worth putting in the personal narrative effort. And so, let's talk about that too. So, to have access to these ships you literally need to grind horribly both materials and data from Guardian sites, making gameplay associated with these fighters absolutely horrendous, which is the absolute worst thing about them. I didn't mention the personal narrative grind anywhere until now because I wanted to highlight how beautiful and wonderful they are and reward artists for taking that extra incentive making them. But as it is, TheYamiks ain't gonna let the dead horse lie for long. The grind just to unlock the fighters is absolutely disgusting. And to think that a lot of players won't experience these fighters in person because they refuse to do the personal narrative does the game and said artists a disservice. From the gameplay perspective, of course. Gameplay design around the Guardian stuff in general is horrible, and whoever is responsible for it should feel ashamed for forcing it down our throats. Because the things that lie behind that horrible experience are truly inspired and breath of fresh air within this game of copy-pasted cloned miscarriages. What a shame. Because these things are really nice. Anyways, to summarize the fighters, the Lance is the alien barbecue, Javelin is Ramta's firstborn, and Trident is better than Aquaman. What? Fighters? Oh my, oh. Whoops. It's alive! It's alive! Say what you will, but this looks actually pretty good. Unintended, but hey, it does its thing. Yay! Oh, what the fuck do I not do for a good shot? Right? Kill me. Just kill me. Well, there goes your carefully placed cameras, huh? Okay. Fuck! For the love of gods! Why? And this is a fantastic result of ramming the ground. Okay, that's shield coming back. Huh. Neat!